Hello. I am so glad that you are taking time to join me in this workshop today to learn more about supporting your little one's sleep without sleep training. My name is Hava. I am the owner of Race to Flourish Sleep and Wellness. I am a 2-time certified sleep and well-being specialist and infant sleep educator. I specialize in helping babies, toddlers, and their parents get better sleep. Infant sleep can be one of the hardest and most confusing times of early parenting. Additionally, society has skewed our perception of what biologically normal infant sleep really is. This leaves many parents stressed, worried, and overwhelmed, told to go against their very instincts. Their instincts that tell them to nurture and respond to their baby. I know firsthand how difficult it is to navigate this season and find a path that works for you. My job is to support your instincts and help you better understand your child's cues and needs. I work with families to identify sleep solutions through responsive parenting and connection, without resorting to traditional separation-based sleep training methods. The focus is on the baby's needs and long-term mental health. As your child's caregiver, you need to look within yourself for the answer, all the while building a solid, attached relationship with your child. Well-balanced adults come from parents who are deeply connected. Sleep work needs to involve the deeper parent-child relationship through connectedness. Managing sleep through more disconnection and separation only creates more disconnection between the two of you. My approach is entirely holistic. The energy that the child feels within the family significantly impacts sleep. When we look at the child, we must also look at the primary caregiver. A family is an interdependent unit, all co-regulating off of each other. To consider an integrated method, we must support the leader and ensure that your own wellness and self-care is managed and taken care of. Remember that you are the pilot flying the plane. At the root of it all, I truly believe that babies deserve nurturing care. Nurture in infancy promotes healthy brain development and secure attachment, setting up the neural circuitry for lifelong mental wellness. However, in today's society, it has become increasingly difficult and draining for families to do this in a way that is sustainable. Additionally, our culture is under a spell that says to go against your natural instincts to parent in a way that humans have done since the beginning of time. By providing parents and caregivers with the latest information on neurodevelopmental and attachment relationships and trauma, I provide informed choices when it comes to caring for your infant, both day and night. The mental health of the infant is dyadic, which means it is never just the infant, it is always the infant and the caregiver, and both are supported holistically to benefit the entire well-being of the family. This means in my approach to infant sleep, I look at the whole family with plans, resources, and strategies to optimize mental and physical health and wellness throughout this challenging season and beyond. So what is sleep training and why don't I use it in my approach to infant sleep? A quick Google search will give you this definition: the process of training young children to fall asleep on their own, typically by means of techniques in which the child is left to cry without being comforted, either for gradually increasing periods of time or until they fall asleep. There are countless different methods and variations of sleep training, as I'm sure you have seen. However, these are all based off of methods that are used to change how a baby behaves, how they signal to their caregiver. Research actually shows that sleep training has little positive effect on sleep itself, meaning that they wake just as often as non-sleep trained babies, but the difference is that they don't signal to their caregiver. From full extinction to time checks like the Ferber method to pick up, put down, they all use separation to essentially train a child out of signaling for their caregiver. Self-soothing is a term that is often misunderstood to mean self-regulation, one's ability to calm down oneself from a state of distress. However, the person who coined this term never intended it to mean self-regulation at all. The term self-soothing was a term created by Dr. Thomas Anders in the 1970s to mean the opposite of signaling. It was certainly never meant to be used to promote the idea that a child could calm down from a state of extreme stress and relax and eventually fall asleep peacefully. He referred to these times during the night when babies wake and then fall back asleep without signaling to their caregiver. Babies tend to fall into two different categories, the signalers and the soothers. The babies categorized as self-soothers typically slept for longer and more consolidated periods. The babies categorized into signalers could not fall back asleep as frequently between sleep cycles and needed more parental support to return to sleep. These babies were slower to sleep for consolidated stretches and more likely to wake every couple of hours for a longer time. Now, he wasn't categorizing babies into signalers or soothers. He was categorizing individual wakings and temperament characteristics. These are two different things. Babies can self-settle sometimes depending on their circumstances, but that doesn't mean that they can do it every time or that we should be trying to train them to do so. So again, it wasn't the goal, but an observation. The strategies that work for the self-soothers are not likely to be as effective for the signaler babies. For example, a common piece of advice is to leave your little one for a moment to see if they can settle themselves back down before responding. If you have a signaler, their crying may escalate quickly, and it will be harder for you to settle your little one back down to sleep. However, this is not taught. This is entirely temperament-driven. So what actually happens in the process of self-soothing during sleep training methods? The babies stop asking for help. They stop signaling to their caregiver. Contrary to popular belief, it does not mean that they have calmed themselves down, which is self-regulation. Babies are incapable of self-regulation. The foundation of this ability is the baby's experiences of a caregiver timely, sensitively, and consistently responding to their distress, providing co-regulation. This is also the basis of a secure attachment. A baby has 6 arousal states: asleep, drowsy, hypoaroused, calmly focused, unalert, and hyper-aroused. And then the 6th is flooded. When a baby gets to the point of being hyper-aroused or flooded, they are burning a lot of energy. The only way to support them out of this state is to downregulate with them. They cannot downregulate alone. Mirror neurons need to kick in and mirror your calm state as their caregiver. This, of course, requires a parent or a caregiver responding sensitively. A baby cannot downregulate from a hyper-aroused state to calm themselves. If a parent or caregiver does not help them downregulate, they will then go up the arousal scale and become flooded. At this point, the baby burns so much energy that they may fall asleep, not because they have soothed themselves, but because they are passing out from sheer exhaustion. It is the brain's last mechanism for protecting itself from severe energy depletion. It's a survival mechanism. Why does leaving a baby alone distress send them into a hyper-aroused or flooded state? Because a baby's hippocampus and prefrontal cortex are not fully formed until adulthood, meaning that your baby can't rationalize. Person permanence is not fully developed until 18 months, and it only begins to start around 6 months. This is why we often see separation anxiety starting around this point. Babies understand that you've walked away, but they don't know where you've gone. They have no concept of time. They don't know that their caregiver will be back. When our little ones are in a stressed state, they are neurologically incapable of soothing themselves. They need physical contact with and support from a caregiver to co-regulate their nervous system and help them calm down again. Leaving them alone in this state may lead to them falling asleep, but this is because they will go up the arousal scale, become flooded with stress, and burn so much energy that they become exhausted and pass out. This is what happens during the process of separation-based sleep training. So while babies may soothe themselves to sleep for some of their night wakings, and this may increase in frequency as they get older and become more capable of tending to their own needs, this is not something that we need to train them to do or something that we should blame ourselves or our babies if it doesn't naturally happen. It will happen as they become developmentally more capable and no sooner. Self-soothing is not soothing at all. It is stopping to signal when they need our help. Babies cannot learn to self-soothe by being left alone. It's the same as if you were to throw your child in the middle of the ocean and expect them to learn how to swim. The capacity for self-soothing is born out of hundreds and hundreds of instances of being soothed by a caregiver. Separation is one of the most wounding experiences for any human, and ultimately, sleep training not only carries risks, but it also means that the child is missing out on all the positive nurture experiences for up to 12 hours a day or more. Babies are just not wired for separation. They are meant to stay close to their caregivers. This is why you will never find any of these methods or strategies that leave a child to cry or handle their emotions on their own. At no point in any of client support or courses will you see these methods that go against your instincts as a parent or encourage you to leave your little one to cry when they are signaling for help. Infants need relationship to regulate their stress, and when they are isolated or have unresponsive care, they have no control over stress. When we respond reliably and positively to the stress and emotions of our little ones with touch and emotional connection, this builds the stress systems to be strong for life. This is why nurturing care is so important. High touch and nurture benefit their brain and leads to an increased ability to manage stress in the future, along with less anxiety and fear. This can help learning, relationships, work, and overall flourishing and happiness in life. The benefits of responsive, nurturing, positive parenting are literally countless and benefit every area of a child's brain development and contribute to lifelong wellness. So how do we approach infant sleep in a way that is respectful, nurturing, and responsive? The foundation of improving infant sleep is aligning ourselves with realistic expectations and goals through education on biologically normal infant sleep, sleep disruptors, and understanding your unique baby's and your family's needs. In this way, you are able to have a realistic understanding of your specific baby, what works within your own lifestyle and values, while also meeting your own needs and ensuring your wellness as a caregiver. I also support you to make changes at your and your baby's pace, while giving you all the tools and strategies that you need to work towards your goals, while always remaining responsive to your baby and your experiences. I will always encourage you to follow your intuition, keeping the things that you love and changing the things that no longer serve you. We do this by swapping them with something that meets your baby's needs, but it is also comfortable for you. Through holistic neuroscience and attachment-based approaches, I focus on relationship and understanding your unique child. This starts with understanding your child's unique sleep needs, temperament, sensory preferences, and ruling out any underlying medical concerns that cause additional wakes. Then we optimize sleep using science-based strategies, environments, routines, sleep associations, nutrition, and tuning into ways of supporting sleep that meet both your and your baby's needs. It is important to understand that it is okay to make changes around things that are no longer working for you. For example, if you are bouncing to sleep every hour, every night, and your back is in constant pain, this is something that needs to change. And it is important for you to change this. And a huge part of this is supporting the entire family's emotional well-being through relationship and attachment. By understanding emotions and giving you the tools that you need to support your child through those big emotions that may come with some changes, you are benefiting your entire family's emotional well-being. And this transfers to all areas of a relationship. Another key of holistic sleep support is understanding normal infant sleep and understanding the ways that we can improve it. It is normal for babies to wake at night, and even toddlers, for all sorts of reasons, from hunger to thirst to needing connection. It is also really, really normal for babies to wake up more when they are going through developmental progressions or they're learning new skills. And of course, when they're sick or they're teething or going through periods of separation anxiety. And other times it can be improved with how we're setting them up for the sleep, the ways in which we optimize their sleep and support them. When we really tune into babies' unique needs and optimize their daytime and their nighttime sleep and everything that goes along with it, we pave the way to those 10 and 12-hour overnights when they are developmentally ready for it. That being said, it is not normal for babies to wake up every single hour throughout the entire night for weeks on end. So often these families are just told to sleep train because they need to learn how to connect sleep cycles, or it's something that you've done. However, this is entirely not the case. If your little one is consistently waking every hour all night long and never ever sleeping for longer, this is a red flag and something that we really need to dive into to discover the root cause. Oftentimes, this is when I see iron deficiency, sleep apnea, tongue ties, or other oral restrictions, sometimes reflux or food sensitivities, all of which can be huge sleep disruptors. This is again why it is so important to look at sleep holistically and take into account everything, because until those sleep disruptors are resolved, it is unlikely that sleep will truly improve to the level that it can. Let's continue on and look at the foundation of normal infant sleep. Babies sleep very differently from adults. The sleep cycles of infants and adults are very, very different. Sleep is a biological function. Babies have shorter sleep cycles and wake more frequently. There are excellent reasons why these differences exist between our sleep and our baby's sleep. For example, while adults can meet all of their own needs and self-regulate, babies are incapable of doing both. For their own survival, they need to be tended to at night. They are designed to wake up easily and sleep less deeply than adults in order to prevent harm or death. Their stomachs are small and they often have needs for night feedings as well throughout the first year and even to 18 months. They sleep in short sleep cycles of active sleep to aid in their developing brain. So yes, we need to expect our babies to sleep very differently from us. When I look at sleep, nutrition plays a huge role in how we can optimize and support better sleep. It is common advice to cut night feedings by either a certain age or a certain weight, or offer a baby a significant amount of solid foods in order to minimize night wakings due to hunger. A large study found that regardless of how infants were fed, aged 6 to 12 months, they still woke the same amount of times. So we know how vital night wakings are from a survival perspective. It helps babies signal to their caregivers for any unmet needs. It helps them get the nourishment that their tiny tummy needs. It helps their developing brain, and so on. When babies have all of their needs met, both emotional, physical, and they are developmentally ready to sleep through the night, you can be 100% certain that they will do so. But does this mean that consolidated sleep is not necessary? Because this is one of the justifications given by sleep trainers and their programs on a regular basis, that we are doing a disservice to our little ones by not helping them achieve more consolidated sleep. But the reality is that humans were biphasic until the dawn of artificial lighting. We would sleep for 4 hours or so, wake for a couple hours, and then sleep a little bit more. Studies have even found that if we do not have artificial light, we gradually move back to this sleeping pattern. So no, our little ones do not need consolidated sleep. Quite the contrary. We are biologically wired to wake at night. In fact, what research has found is that night waking does not negatively influence infant brain development, nor does it actually influence maternal mood. Studies have shown that an increase in night wakings in breastfed babies was not associated with any long-term sleep or behavioral problems. So again, further evidence that consolidated sleep is unnecessary and that night wakings are not a sign of sleep deprivation or poor sleep. It is very normal for babies to wake at night for feeds even to 18 months and beyond. Babies do not need to be taught how to sleep or connect sleep cycles. Sleep is an entirely biological function to be supported with healthy habits, responsive parenting, and ultimately understanding that sleep consolidation comes with time and development. Regardless of what you do or what you don't do, your little one will sleep through the night when they are developmentally ready to do so. And yes, we can continue to support them and set them up for optimal sleep. There is no such thing as bad sleep habits, sleep props, or sleep crutches. Feeding, rocking, nursing, holding, or otherwise soothing your little one to sleep is never the wrong choice and certainly will never be the cause of additional wakes or sleep problems. When we look at optimizing sleep, a huge part of this is actually using sleep associations to support longer stretches and layering on associations that work for your family and soothing your little one and providing them the connection that helps bring them to calm. It is also normal if your little one has periods of longer stretchers and more frequent wakes. Baby sleep is not linear. A return to night waking after periods of sleeping through the night is entirely normal. Many babies will experience periods of fewer wakes and increased disruptions throughout even the first 2 years of life and beyond. This is normal for a variety of reasons, unique to each child. Factors such as growth spurts, teething, discomfort, illness, developmental progressions, cognitive leaks, learning, gross motor skills such as crawling, all influence your little one's sleep. These changes are entirely normal and, while frustrating, are not a reflection on you as a caregiver. You haven't done anything wrong to cause additional wakes. These changes are to be expected, and using this knowledge, align your expectations accordingly and know that they will improve again with time. Utilize the foundation of sleep and practice self-care to ensure that you are taking care of yourself and setting your baby up for success. Babies also have variable sleep needs. It is not possible to force sleep when your little one isn't tired or have them sleep more than their body needs. Many popular baby books and methods claim that babies should be sleeping entirely unrealistic sleep totals. Generally, large population studies find that sleeping 12 hours per night is highly unusual for children under the age of 2. Additionally, the range of total sleep in a 24-hour period for babies is very, very wide. The best way to tell if your little one is getting the sleep that they need is to assess it based on their general state of being. Do they generally seem well rested and content? This is a good sign that they got the sleep that they need. A huge part of optimizing sleep is finding your baby's ideal balance between daytime and nighttime sleep and ensuring that they aren't overtired or undertired, causing additional nighttime wakes. Babies are innately dependent on their caregiver and desire closeness and co-regulation. In many countries, mothers and babies are never expected to separate throughout the day and the night. They sleep on the mother's body and close to her for naps, and with the mother in her sleep space at night. It simply makes sense. Our little ones are born entirely defenseless, entirely vulnerable, entirely dependent on us. And of course, they've evolved to need us, so they thrive when we are close by. There are so many benefits to having infants sleep close to us and close to their caregiver. For example, their parasympathetic nervous system is turned on so that they feel safe. There is no fight, flight, or freeze. They receive multisensory input, which helps their developing brain. Oxytocin, the love hormone, which promotes trust, empathy, and bonding, is stimulated. Their stress response and cortisol levels are regulated. They benefit from emotional contagion, which means they are influenced by the relaxed or the sleeping body of their caregiver and feel similar feelings. They benefit from the mimicry of breathing and heart rate, and their heart rate is less variable. The brain waves can synchronize between baby and caregiver. Their quiet sleep duration is increased. All of these are significant benefits that shouldn't be ignored. So yes, closeness is an important part of normal, healthy infant sleep. Temperament also plays a huge role in your little one's sleep. It is incredibly normal for babies to need support, to fall asleep, and sometimes to stay asleep. Most babies need to feel the physical comfort provided by a caregiver so that they can feel relaxed and safe emotionally to allow their bodies to fall into sleep. Your baby attaches through the senses in the first year of life, which means if they can't feel, hear, taste, smell, or touch you, they may feel alarmed. This feeling of alarm or vulnerability can prevent their system from falling asleep easily alone. Additionally, when you feed your little one or practice skin-to-skin contact, oxytocin is released. This love hormone feels good and makes babies sleepy. The act of rocking, cuddling, being held, or bouncing also feels incredibly soothing to our little ones. The idea of drowsy but awake will not work for the majority of babies, and anyone who applies otherwise sets parents up for failure and unrealistic expectations. You can get your child to sleep without putting them into their space, drowsy but awake, or wide awake, and you will never spoil your baby by allowing them to fall asleep in the warmth, comfort, and safety of your arms or your presence. A common myth is how a baby or toddler falls asleep is exactly how they will expect to be returned to sleep through every wake during the night or between every single sleep cycle. For example, if you bounce or nurse your child to sleep, they will expect to be bounced or nursed to sleep throughout the entire night between every sleep cycle also. Fortunately, this is truly rarely the case. If you have one and only one sleep association in your toolkit for supporting your child to sleep, you may run into trouble, but most caregivers utilize various methods of supporting their little ones to sleep. Additionally, it is very normal and quite expected that babies and even many toddlers will need some level of support to go to sleep at night and for naps. I encourage you to lean into this time of nurture for your little one and frame it as a time of connection. Yes, absolutely, as our little ones grow and develop, there will be a time where they naturally need less support. But this varies from child to child and is not something that we need to force or teach. Whether you leave it to be a 100% child-led process or encourage it as a parent as they become older and more developmentally ready for it, it will happen. The foundation of my approach to sleep, both in how I support clients and in any of my courses or guides, is rooted in taking into account the whole child, the unique family situation, and looking at all areas that impact sleep. It is so important to find the balance between meeting the emotional and biological needs of your child, building in support strategies, and making changes in a way that supports your wellness as a parent also. The Nurtured Sleep course is over 5 hours of comprehensive education and strategies to help you truly understand all the areas that impact your little one's sleep, giving you strategies to both optimize your little one's sleep and make changes respectfully and responsibly. All of my one-on-one clients have full lifetime access to this course, in addition to comprehensive intake analysis, one-on-one coaching sessions, and continued support via email. In this way, you are fully equipped with the education about attachment, emotions, all of the foundations of sleep, understanding development, feeding, and sleep disruptions, and giving you solutions to common sleep challenges that parents and caregivers encounter. If you are looking for a more DIY, self-paced approach or looking for a solid foundation in understanding your baby's sleep, the Nurtured Sleep course would be a perfect fit. If you're currently in the midst of some sleep challenges and looking for an experienced second pair of eyes on your unique circumstances and situation, one-on-one support would be your best fit. The benefit of one-on-one support is that due to the comprehensive intake process, you will have a sleep plan created for you that is really tailored to your unique child and the situation, providing you clear directions in tangible ways that you can start to improve sleep tonight. You will have a sleep plan created for you that is truly tailored to your unique situation and provided clear direction in tangible ways that you can start to improve sleep that are easily implementable. Baby sleep can feel so hard and overwhelming, and there really is benefit to getting an outside perspective, guiding and providing reassurance as you navigate your unique child. Ultimately, you will be able to understand your baby's sleep at their stage of development, feel confident in recognizing your baby's sleep cues, rhythms, and needs, and receive a detailed, personalized sleep plan to help everyone feel more rested and confident with support along the way. If you have any questions in regards to the Nurtured Sleep course or one-on-one support, please book a clarity call. I would love to answer your questions and help you find the solution that is right for you.